In this video, I'm going to show you how to configure a router as a DHCP server. In addition, I'm also going to configure this layer 3 switch as a DHCP relay. The purpose of a DHCP relay is to forward DHCP requests from hosts to the DHCP server that's on a different subnet. Some of the lab is already configured. I've got a layer 3 switch here. I've got two VLANs here, VLAN 10 and VLAN 11. VLAN 10 has two hosts, host 1 and host 2. And VLAN 11 is a guest VLAN. They're all currently enabled as DHCP clients. So what I have on the multi-layer switch are two VLAN interfaces, or what's called SVIs, and they're the default gateways for the hosts and the guests. I also have this DNS server. This is 172.16.3.1. Part of DHCP configuration is also to send the DNS server address to the host and to the guest. First thing I'll do is just show the current IP configuration. Let's go to command prompt, ipconfig/all. And currently the physical address, that's the MAC address of the host. Then there's an automatic link local IPv6 address. What I have currently is what's called an APIPA address. And that's automatically assigned from the 169.254 subnet. That's what Windows does when you enable a client for DHCP. It assigns this APIPA address, and it's really the IPv4 equivalent of a link local IPv6 address. There's a /16 subnet mask, so that's a class B address. And currently there's no default gateway. There's no IP address for the DHCP server or DNS server. And this is on Fast Ethernet 0. The other one is a Bluetooth connection, and that doesn't apply here. I'll go to host 2 and do the same thing, get the same results really. Same thing. So there's the same APIPA address. There's no IP addressing currently from the DHCP server. And this is the guest laptop. And same thing, APIPA addressing 169.254. And that's all there is, nothing else currently. What I'm going to do is go to R1 and configure the DHCP server on that. So the first command is service DHCP. That enables DHCP service on the router, so it can respond to DHCP requests from clients and also send DHCP offers with the IP addressing. Next thing I'm going to do is configure a DHCP pool for VLAN 10. That's the host. Well, the command is IP DHCP pool VLAN 10. So this network command, this configures the network address that the host is going to use. And that's 172.16.10/24. And this next command, default router, 172.16.10.254, that'll send the IP address of the default gateway to the client. That's actually the VLAN interface on the layer 3 switch, what's called the SVI. And the command DNS server, this will send the IP address of the DNS server to the host. And this last command for the DHCP pool is going to exclude the default gateway from assignment to a host. So the default gateway address is excluded for dynamic assignment to a host. And that's IP DHCP exclude address 172.16.10.254. That's done for VLAN 10. Now I'm going to create a DHCP pool for a VLAN 11. That's the guest VLAN. So I'm just going to go up arrow. And the first command, I'm going to change this. I'm going to name this guest. So the name of the DHCP pool for the host is VLAN 10. And for VLAN 11 guest, I'm just going to call it guest. I'll just up arrow to the network statement. I'm just going to change this to an 11. That's all I really have to do there. And then the default router, that's going to be 11.254. And like I said, this is the VLAN interface on the multi-layer switch. That's the default gateway. And it's going to be the same DNS server, 172.16.3.1. And the IP excluded address would be the 172.16.11.254 gateway address. That's for VLAN 11. That's done. So when the host or guest connect to the network, the default gateway has to be configured on the upstream layer 3 device. That's a layer 3 switch. So the hosts and guests, they're on a different network address than the DHCP server. The DHCP server is on 172.16.1 subnet. That's FA20. And VLAN 10's on 172.16.10. And guests are on 172.16.11 network address. What I need to do is configure the multi-layer switch with a DHCP relay for each VLAN. So there's the default gateways, interface VLAN 10.11. So what I do is configure the IP helper address under each VLAN interface. That's what the DHCP relay is. So interface VLAN 10. This command will forward all DHCP requests to 172.16.1.2 interface. That's interface FA20 on R1. I'll just up arrow to VLAN 11, and it's the same command. Copy run to start. And copy run to start here. Now I'm going to verify the lab. The first thing I want to do is just fast forward 3 or 4 times. This is for network convergence, so the DHCP server can start sending IP addresses to the hosts. Notice they're on host 1, 172.16.10.2, so it's got an address, and the gateway is 172.16.10.254, and the DNS server 172.16.3.1. Now on host 2, it's 172.16.10.1, so 10.1 and 10.2. It also has the gateway and DNS server address. And then guest VLAN 11, it's 172.16.11.1. It also has the correct gateway address and DNS server address. So I could send a ping to the DNS server 172.16.3.1. There it is, replies. This verifies routing is working as well. And that's working as well from host 2. And it'll 4 replies. And that's working on VLAN 11 for the guests. So layer 3 is working. I can just do an IP config all on host 1. There's fast Ethernet 0, MAC address, link local address. There's the IPv4 address 172.16.10.2 and the correct subnet mask, and the default gateway and DHCP server address. It's based off of the relay address, and the DNS server. So everything looks fine there. And same with host 2. There's the IPv4 address there, and subnet mask, and default gateway and DNS server. So everything looks good there too. And finally the guest. And same thing, there it is, 172.16.11.
a /24 subnet mask. And the default gateway, DHCP server, and DNS server. So everything looks fine there. So that verifies DHCP server is working. And that concludes the video.